Happy Thanksgiving and welcome to The Hedge with Double D.
The Hedge with Double D.
Thank you for joining me. I'm riding solo for college football today. We've got the NFL show out also where Colin joins me. But for college, it's just me. So stick around. We'll go through this kind of quickly. Starting with Thanksgiving. We've got Ole Miss, Mississippi State, the Egg Bowl. It's exciting. Oh, man. It's our last week of football. Oh, I'm so sad. I don't know why that hit me all of a sudden, but I guess it's the last real week of the regular season before we get into that. So that is sad, but we still got a lot of NFL left. But it's been a great college football year, and man, have we been hot. We've won so much. So let's see if we can round it off with a good weekend. Sorry. All right. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Egg Bowl. Really fun rivalry. Mississippi State had the big win last year with the close win. But I definitely like, this one I've gone back and forth. I like Ole Miss. Definitely if I'm just looking money line wise, I'm sure that's not good odds. Mississippi State, they have been blown out by a bunch of teams. They get blown out by it, especially recently. A&M blew them out. Kentucky beat them by 21. Auburn beat them by 14. They get blown out by a lot. So minus 10.5 makes me want to do that. But then Ole Miss, they haven't beaten teams by a lot. They beat a lot of these teams by just like one score. Except for the bad teams. So maybe Mississippi State's a bad team. It's just this one's hard to pick. I wanted to take Mississippi State plus 10.5. But I don't know, man. But I think I'm leaning more towards just like buying down some points on Ole Miss. Maybe putting them at -6 or even buying Mississippi State up to like plus 14, plus 15. But I like Ole Miss -6. I think this seems to be like another one-score game. But this could be close. So like I said, I'm not very confident on this. If anything, I like Ole Miss money line, throw in a parlay with some of the NFL games on Thanksgiving. Just do a bunch of favorites parlays with Ole Miss, Detroit, Dallas, and the 49ers. Just do all favorites parlays, and you'll probably get, like plus 150 at the very least. So that's where I'm leaning. Ole Miss money line, but man, I really don't like that minus 10.5. And then the over 55.5, I'm staying away from that too. I'm really not sure about the over there. So, or the total points there. So that's really the only Thanksgiving game. But we've got some good games Friday. I'm really more excited for these Friday games. Iowa, Nebraska is the big. It's big for the Big Ten, I guess. It's big for Iowa. We always look at the Iowa game, though. We love the under. Nebraska's favored by 2.5. That blows my mind. Iowa came out as the favorite -1 only, or -1.5 maybe. And it's moved to Nebraska -2.5. I guess Nebraska almost has more to play for. If they win this, they'll go to a bowl under Matt Rule's first year. But if Iowa wins, they've already made the Big Ten championship, so it really doesn't matter if they lose. But if they win, they still have a chance to, I don't know, if they beat Michigan or Iowa State in the championship. So I don't know, get into at least a New Year's Six game. If maybe chaos happens, they can try to sneak into the playoffs. So I don't know. It surprises me that Nebraska's favored. So I'm taking Iowa. I'm taking 2.5 points with Iowa. That seems crazy. Jumping on that. Iowa plus 2.5. And then they have really bumped this under down to 26.5. It started at 29.5, which I really love. Under 29.5. 26.5 scares me. Ooh, so I think if anything, I'm much more confident in Iowa plus 2.5. I like the under 26.5 still. We're going to ride with it. But maybe if I'm going to put these together, play them separately, put them together at Iowa plus 2.5, or just Iowa money line, and then maybe under 29.5. Buy yourself a couple points in case it's like 16-13. So again, Iowa plus 2.5, maybe Iowa money line. I really like that. And then we're going to ride with the under, but maybe buy a couple points if you want to be safe. All right. The other big game on Friday, much bigger, Oregon at Oregon State. That's going to be a really big game. If Oregon wins, they go to the Pac-12 championship against Washington. If they lose, I think Arizona has a chance to slide in, which has been crazy surprising didn't think Arizona would be near this good. But Oregon's favored by 13.5. I imagine Oregon's going to win. But 13.5 is a lot of points. Oregon State's good, and this is a rivalry. It's at Oregon State. I'm taking Oregon State. I'm just going to buy it up to 14.5 to be safe. And I'm taking Oregon State plus 14.5. That's just too many points for a rivalry game like this when both teams are good. So Oregon's got a lot to play for, obviously, but so does Oregon State. So I like Oregon State plus 14.5. All right, moving on to Saturday. We've got a couple more games for you. The big game Saturday is Ohio State at Michigan. I like Michigan. It's -3, -3.5, depending on where you're looking. If you can get -3, jump all over that. If you can get -2.5, especially, maybe buy it down. But I really just like Michigan money line. Just take that to be safe. Michigan's going to win. It could be a close game, though, but it could also be a blowout. So, I mean, I like Michigan money line if you're going to parlay it. If you're just going to take it straight up, go ahead and take the 3.5, honestly. Michigan's going to win by a touchdown. They're the better team. Now they've got this chip on their shoulder, whether they were cheating or not. I mean, they were cheating and they got caught, but they get to have the chip on their shoulder and it's going to help them. So I like Michigan. 3.5. The over-under 46, I'm going to stay away from that. I'm not liking the over-unders as much this week as just the spreads. All right, another Big Ten game. We're doing a lot of Big Ten, but I watch a lot of Big Ten, so let's do what I watch. Wisconsin, Minnesota, battle for Paul Bunyan's axe. Oh, I love this one. Oh, this one's tough. You got to take me with a grain of salt here because this is our rivalry week. I got my Packer stuff on. I'm a Wisconsin fan. Wisconsin -2.5. I'm going to take that. I've been betting against them for the last couple of weeks, but they got Mordecai back as quarterback. Minnesota's not very good. Wisconsin's going to really, they're going to want to win. Both teams are really going to play up to this. So I like Wisconsin -2.5. If you're going to take them -2.5. If you're going to take Minnesota, just take the money line and get the better odds there. I could see Minnesota winning here, so I'm not super confident, and this is emotional, but I like Wisconsin -2.5. And I like the under of 42.5. Always taking these under on the Wisconsin game also. It's hit over a little bit, but I like under 42.5 here. I feel like it's going to be an ugly, hard-fought game. Could be some weather in Minnesota. I haven't looked, but it's going to be cold, I imagine. So under 42.5, Wisconsin -2.5. Go Badgers. Go into the ACC. Well, ACC and SEC. We got a couple rivalry games, ACC versus SEC. Florida State, Florida is what we'll start with. Florida State obviously lost their quarterback. That sucks. He's out for the year. Obviously, who knows how long he's out for. But they're still favored -6.5 because Florida lost their quarterback also. Graham Mertz went down. So they're both going to have backup quarterbacks. Florida State's the better team, though. Mertz was playing really well, the former Wisconsin quarterback. So that's going to hurt Florida. Obviously, Jordan Travis was playing really well, too, so that's going to hurt Florida State. But I think Florida State has the better team. They've got a lot of good skill players. They're -6.5. I don't like that. I just like them on the money line. With the injured quarterbacks, you don't know what's going to happen, but I like Florida State to win money line there. Put it in a parlay. And last game here, another ACC, SEC, Clemson, South Carolina. Clemson is playing so much better last couple of weeks. Definitely not betting against them, but they're -7.5. I don't like that. I'm going to buy it down to -5.5 to be safe. Take Clemson to -5.5 over South Carolina. It's at South Carolina, but Clemson's way better. They're going to beat them by about a touchdown. So I like -5.5 there for Clemson. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. Thank you for listening. Hope you can win some picks while you're watching your football, eating some food, hanging out with your family. Bet responsibly. Let's make some money. All of that stuff. I will see y'all next week. Thank you for listening.